Hey, what's up, guys? This is just going to be an intro to my B5A4 engine replacement vlog series. This is going to be my first time doing YouTube vlogs of any kind. So it's going to be a little cringy, it's going to be a little bit novice. I'll keep the content as cool as I possibly can for a 2.8 A4. Not the most exciting car, but it's an Avant and it's manual, so that's always a good thing. Probably just gonna do a little bit of an update, a little bit of a walk around of the car, show you around, and kind of go over what I have planned and ultimately why I'm replacing the engine. I took it to a road course event and ran it a little too low on oil. And it turns out when you're hitting corners and high G-forces, the oil sloshes and it turns into spun rod bearing pretty quickly. So anyway, it was a dumb mistake and I'm going to correct it. Luckily, the used 2.8 engines are fairly inexpensive. So I'll just give you a quick walk around and show you what we're going to be in for. So here's the car. It's a 2001 B5A4, 2.8 Avant Quattro, 5-speed manual, and typically a pretty boring car, nothing special. I added a rare and pretty much known as unobtainium. It's a PES M62 based Eaton supercharger, and it's running about 10 pounds of boost. I got a 10-pound pulley on it, and I've got a couple other little parts that I added. It's 034 intake heat shield. I made my own little velocity stack, air filter setup with some vibrant components. Switched it over to 2.0 T R8 style coil packs. Built a little harness for that. Added some nice dress-up caps and this little Passat cover on the right here. It dresses up the engine bay pretty nice. Overall, the kit is pretty fun. Surprisingly, I've been tuning it on E85, and I think that was the real ticket to making this intercooler, or making this kit without an intercooler, work properly. When the kit was released several years ago in the early 2000s, there was it was only running on pump gas. There was no intercooler, so it was very limited to boost, and you had to run a very, very conservative amount of timing in order to run the engine safely. And I took matters into my own hands, started tuning it myself, put some bigger injectors, and I'm running it on E85, which allows significantly more ignition advance, and it has cooling as well. So it runs very well, and I just got to make sure to keep oil in it next time. As far as aesthetics, I put a brand new set of Vallejo European headlights. Don't mind the crunched fender. That's been like that since I got the car. Kind of bummed about it. Been looking for a brilliant black fender for a B5 for a long time. Eventually I'll come across one, but for now it's just part of the Avant. I have 17Z Touareg calipers and 330 millimeter Volvo S60R big brakes up front. The car's sitting on Bilstein PSS9 coilovers, and I've got a rear 034 Motorsport rear sway bar in it as well. Got some S8 polished mirrors. They really add a nice Nice touch, matches the 2.8 trim and the roof rails. And here in the rear, we've got just B5 S4 brakes, a little bit bigger than the stock A4 brakes, nothing crazy. BBS RK wheels and Bridgestone RE71s, awesome tires for the track. Here's my number 6 from the day I blew it up. And so here's what's in store. I've got a 411 rear differential, which will complement the 6-speed transmission that will be going into the car. And behind that is the S4 drive shaft, which I need to convert over to a 6-speed. And then over here, I've got the 01E 6-speed. It's an FYF, which was used in the B6 A4 3-liter. Really close ratios, should work really well for the supercharger setup and the 2.8 engine. The closer ratios will help keeping the RPM of the supercharger higher. Will keep it in higher boost. So I think that'll be a major benefit to the car overall. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Sure, some of you noticed the 200 over here. It's probably why most of you are even subscribed to this channel. It's my baby. It's not in this project. I'm sure if this goes successfully, there will be more projects involving the 200. So we'll come back to that. Got some Groms too. Might as well. Anyway, that's pretty much it. The inside's mostly stock. I added a aftermarket head unit with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, that kind of thing. I also 3D printed a little vent gauge here for my Innovate ECB1 gauge. It displays ethanol content, wideband, boost. It's a really nice little combo gauge. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Black leather, in decent shape. Avant life. I'll fire it up so you guys can hear how terrible this thing sounds. Quite blown up. So just to summarize the tentative plan here, I'm going to replace the engine with a new low miles used junkyard engine. I already picked one up. I'm going to replace the 5-speed transmission with a 6-speed transmission and the other associated parts with that. Linkage, rear differential, drive shaft, shift knob, shift boot, a couple other little things. And I'm putting some new track pads. I got some Carbotech XP10 track pads, and my plan ultimately is to make it to a track event in California. The track is called Chuckwalla, and that's on February 8th to Saturday. And ultimately that's my goal, to have the engine swapped, the headers built, the 6-speed transmission installed, and everything back up and running properly for that event. So yeah, wish me luck. So that's going to do it for this video. Just wanted to give a little intro and a walk around the car. I appreciate everyone for watching, and I know this isn't as cool as the 200, but it's going to be my start to vlogging, I guess. We'll see how it goes, and maybe there'll be more with the 200 coming in the future. And up next, I'm going to build some headers for this thing. Stay tuned.